Will I like these any more than the watercolor pencil set? Let's take a look and see. Hello everyone, Ken here, your Thrifty Apprentice. Happy Wednesday everyone, and welcome back to another Thrifty review. In today's quick review, we are taking a look at the second product that I'm reviewing from the Zenacolor art product line, and that is the 72 count of colored pencils. I have previously reviewed the watercolor pencil set, which I will be sure to link that for you so that you can check it out if you would like to. And I've had a chance to unbox, test, and now bring you a review for the color pencil set. Per usual with our review videos, we are going to go straight into a demo so that you can see the pencils in use before I take time to talk about them. Afterwards, we'll jump right back over and I'll give you all the lowdown that I discovered on this pencil set. So my artsy friends, as we move into this demo, the video is going to move rather fast. It took me right at 2 hours to do this blueberry cluster in completion, so I have sped the video up quite a few times just so this video itself won't turn out too long. Now, I used a very limited color palette when I did this illustration, and I'm going to give you the names and common color names. That way you can kind of pick from whatever set you may have on hand. I used a blue, a dark blue, a violet, a black, a white, a yellow green, more of a grass green, and a dark green. And that's it. Those are the only colors you need to complete this illustration if you choose to. I am going to be using some white gouache, but I will be covering that gouache with a white color pencil. So you don't really need the gouache. It's just something I like to add to my compositions. Now there will be a traceable of this illustration available over on Patreon for all Patreon members, so you will have access in case you do not want to have to draw the composition out and you decide you want to give it a shot. Per usual with the demos in a review video, I'm not going to talk too much about the pencils during the actual demo illustration. I'm going to cut out and let a little music play in the background, and as I said earlier in the video, we'll meet up for the review right after. So friends, here we have the Zenacolor Expert Series 72 color pencil set. They come in a pretty decent size tin. It's made of aluminum. If I had to guess, it's got beautiful illustration on the front. The tin itself is actually pretty flimsy, if the truth be told, but I don't guess that's neither here nor there. 72 color pencils. They're supposed to be rich and vibrant colors that are artist quality for every level of artist, used to for art blending and layering. Okay. It got contact information here for Zenacolor and their website. Lets you know it conforms to the ASTM D4236 regulation. The pencils are manufactured by BMS International in Grand Bay, Mauritius, which we learned back during the watercolor pencil review that is a East African country. So I do believe the pencils are African produced or manufactured in the country, in Mauritius, which is in East Africa. Okay, so the tin latches pretty well. I didn't experience any issues with that. On the inside of the tin, you're going to get a full color swatching of all the pencils. Now, I can't remember if they actually came in this order when I initially opened the tin, because I have used the pencils quite a bit and did not even attempt to put them back in the color order. The included information on the inside of the tin, you're going to get a do-it-yourself swatch sheet, which allows you to swatch each of the pencils out with its color number as well as the name for each color. The swatching area is actually pretty small, but it does allow you to get a pretty decent representation of what each color looks like. So it's not a big deal that it's not a huge swatching area. The back of it has a little coloring practice on it. I just used it to test pencils doing different projects. And then the other pamphlet included actually has an access code on it, which gives you access to coloring pages provided by Zenacolor. I'm not sure how often that's updated. In all honesty, I've never even gone to test it out. Now see, just there, the tin, as I was lifting, it just kind of came apart there. But you can just snap it back down. But just be careful with the tin if this is a set that you have or a set that you're getting, especially if your tin seems to be as, flimsy as this one. But that didn't depict the quality of the pencils. That's just the packaging. Each pencil is included in a tray. There are 3 trays to complete the 72 count. From the road test, I didn't have any pencils that was misshaped or misformed, nothing of that nature. The pencils have a full color swatch barrel on them. There is no dome on the end, so you can tell right off if the lids, are centered. I did not find that any of these were really off-centered. I think for the most part, they were pretty centered. I only had one pencil that was sort of weird when I opened it, and that's this one, which happens to be the shortest one. I had to sharpen it down quite a bit in order to get to the lid. It had some breakage and some pillage kind of going on at the top. I was intended to take pictures of that, and it really did slip my mind, and I just went into using the pencils. I want to interject right here that I do believe that these pencils are sort of supposed to emulate Prismacolor. You're going to get some really kind of clear writing on the barrels. I don't believe I experienced any misprinting. However, I do believe that the color names are kind of weird based on the lid itself. Some of the colors when they colored out just did not seem to match the name that was given to them. But you do get the name and the color number on the barrel. Now, I will also say there was no light fast information included with the pencil set, neither on the packaging, any of the information included in the packaging, nor on the pencil. So this is definitely a budget student grade set of pencils, but that does not necessarily make them a bad pencil. That's just that's just where I think they fall as far as classification goes. Okay, so there you have it. Let's talk about the lid of the pencils. For what I can remember, I really didn't have any issues sharpening the pencils. What I had issues with is the fact that the lid itself did not seem to be of the best quality. Now, I did not experience this with every single pencil, but I did experience it with quite a few of them. And there would be certain times when I would sharpen and I would have to resharpen again in order to get past little breakages like this in the lid. Now, I have not dropped the pencils that I know of. I'm not sure if the pencils were dropped in the process of being shipped to me, but somewhere along the way, I believe maybe the pencils were dropped. I just can't see them being that bad quality. I even have some breakage here in the white. And I found it in many of the pencils throughout the time of testing them and using it. So I wanted to go ahead and move forward and see what I could possibly accomplish. So I'm going to show you some of the things I painted with it. Now, I did find that they have good coverage. They cover pretty well. They don't really clog up the tooth of the paper really quickly as long as you keep a light hand while you're using them. The lid doesn't break often, but if it's too sharp, it will. I use the standard electric, like generic Office Depot standard electric pencil sharpener that I use on all of my other pencils when I did the sharpening test. And, you know, it's just kind of what it was. Oh, before I show you guys what I did with them, let me show you some other testing that was done on the pencils as I normally do. So here we have a smudge test that I did. And the pencils will move just a little bit. My hands tend to be a bit oily. I do think that can contribute to the smudging factor. But of course, you can always avoid smudging by having something under your hand on your working surface as you're using the colored pencils. Now, here I used spirits, which would be odorless mineral spirits. They moved pretty decently with that. I think they moved just as much in water as they did, but not as they did with the spirit, but not as much as, say, like a watercolor pencil would move. So I don't think they really did moving like that. Now, the other test I'm going to do, which I haven't completed, and I'm so shocked and surprised, is the alcohol marker test to see how they blend down. So this is really kind of cool. You guys kind of getting to share into how I do that. I'm just using a clearless blender, and I am blending that down and dragging it out. So they blend pretty well with an alcohol blender, a clear alcohol blender. They move okay. I think they actually move more with spirits, and I can pretty much tell you that that's how they would move with baby oil without even, because I actually don't have any here next to me. I wasn't quite as prepared for this review as I thought I was, but we're gonna go ahead and chirp on through. Anyway, so they'll move with most of the common things. Just always keep in mind that if you use baby oil, you want to use baby oil at the very end on your color pencil work. You want to make sure you put down all the pencil that you want to, because once you use baby oil to blend, in my experience, I've never been able to go back in and lay down pencil on top of it, especially not wax-based pencils, which is what I used. The pencils erased pretty decently, and I found that throughout testing them in actual artwork as well. So I didn't have any issues lifting them off if I needed to and getting back to the white of the paper. Now here I did a blend test where I was just blending different colors together to see how smoothly I could transition into other colors, one, and two, to see the secondary colors that they would blend together to make. So better examples would be the blending of the yellow and the red here to make the orange, the yellow and the blue to make a green, the red and the blue. And when I'm saying red, I use the more magenta leaning red in the pencil set, the closest I could possibly get to magenta as my primary red to do these mixing tests with. And I was able to get secondary colors that were really clean. So the pencils will lay on top of each other and layer in order to give you depth and complexity and color, to help you change the variation of a shade to get it to where you want it to be. Absolutely. I think they'll do that. And here I was just blending other colors together just to see what mixtures I could get. played around with a little doodling of the pencils on the page. Just because I wanted to get a feel for them before I just jumped into doing some artwork, which started with doing a journal cover for a crafting project. So I just stamped 3 poppies here and went in with some pinks and reds and greens in order to do a little card front journal cover. I'm going to bind this for an upcoming video, which let me go ahead and insert here. Yes, I'm going to be releasing soon, guys, a video that's going to kind of walk you through some inspiration for sketchbooks, watercolor sketchbooks and water-soluble journals or oil pastel journals or whatever you want to turn it into. And I do want to go ahead and put that out there and say that now, because whenever I drop a video that doesn't have something to do with a watercolor, I'll tend to lose subscribers. So I just kind of want to, put that out there and warn you guys that, I do other things on the channel, guys. I really do. Not a lot. I do a lot of watercolor, a lot of water soluble, but I do use other mediums. I do love using other mediums, and I do use them on the channel because I have a lot of people who watch who likes to see those as well. So just so you guys know. All right. So what did I do with the pencils? I followed a tutorial by Lindsay the Frugal Crafter. Well, it was a class that she did for Michaels or for Derwent on Michaels.com. And then it was posted to her YouTube channel, excuse me. So you can either go to Michael's YouTube channel or you can go to the Frugal Crafter's YouTube channel if you want to access this class and follow along. I used the pencils here, didn't seem to have any problem, blended well, layered well. I was able to get in some depth here by blending in purples instead of using blacks. And Lindsay is a wonderful teacher, so she kind of guides you through it really well. I started to do a cupcake here. I still need to finish this. Side note, I did the blueberry that we did here in today's video. I'm had a loss for words in today's video, and I really enjoyed doing this one. These pencils really do blend really well. They're not as soft as Prismacolor, and I actually think they may kind of break just as much as a Prismacolor. They are I would put them on the level of being a really good kind of like, or a really decent, I'm not going to say good, a really decent kind of Prismacolor substitute based on how much they cost. I'm going to be honest, some of the quality control issues that I had with the set really is a little offsetting to me, especially on recommending the pencils. I do think that they have a pretty decent quality they have pretty decent quality traits to them. They are going to blend. I do believe that they're rich and vibrant in the colors. I do think that, they layer really well, and you can get secondary and beyond colors out of laying them on top of each other, changing your colors and the shades. The black is really opaque. The white, I really think it's just sort of more of a blender. You don't get much opacity out of it. I actually used a Prismacolor white in the projects that I needed a white for. And I'm just gonna, just for the sake of having something in front of the camera, put that back up what we did today. So I think the quality of the pencils is really decent, especially for the price. My issue is just that, I had a lot of damaged lids. I had a lot of pencils that I had to sharpen more than once in order to get past lead that may have been damaged throughout the pencils. And like I said, it is very possible that the pencils was dropped in transport. So it may not be that the set you get turns out to be that way. And if you already have the set, of course, I welcome you to jump in the comment section and let me know, did you have the same quality control issue that I was showing you guys? Because I would really like to know, because I think the quality of the pencils overall is really decent for the price. I'm just really scared to recommend them because I had broken lids. I had pencils that came with half of the, like a third of the lid kind of out of it. So I just don't know. But outside of that, I think it's a really decent pencil, and I can just go ahead and wrap it up. If I had to give the pencils, first of all, I'll reiterate, I do think they're a student grade pencil, and if I had to give them a rating on a star scale of 1 to 5, I would probably put the pencils at about 3.5. I would have put them at 4 if I didn't have the little issues that I have with the pencil I had with mine. And I'm really, really hoping that it's just like mine and not something that's with a lot of their sets, or maybe with just that particular batch of pencils. So I'm going to put them at a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I wouldn't say run out and get them, but I would say that I don't think that they are a bad option for a beginner artist who's trying to get into color pencil. I don't think they're a bad option for a mixed media artist who like uses color pencil to just do some touch-up work and some layering work on top of other mediums. I think that they will be a great pencil for kids. Going and when I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said kids. I think they'll be a great choice for, you know, grade school into high school. I can even see them maybe being used by collegiate students, as long as you know they don't get a bunch of broken pencils, because I think they're nice. And I'm going to finish up the cupcake. And yeah, so there you have it, guys. There's nothing for me to really ramble on about. This review was pretty straightforward about these pencils. I had a couple of issues with broken lids, but outside of that, for the price point of $21.99, I don't think they're bad. 72 pencils, $21.99. Just, you know, just know that if you do decide, hey, you're going to get these pencils, you want to use them because you kind of like the way that they look, you like their brightness and their vibrancy. I'm definitely not trying to discourage you from it. Just know that there's a possibility, you know, that there might be some issues with the lids of the pencils. There you have it, guys. If you found anything, heard anything helpful in this video, go ahead and sprinkle a little love. Sprinkle a little love and give the video a thumbs up. Share the video. Sharing is caring, and maybe someone else would love to see this information. Jump in the comment section. I would really like to know you guys' thoughts, especially if you've used the pencils. If you haven't used the pencils, then I know you probably couldn't tell me anything about the quality of them. But if you use these pencils, I really would love to know. Or even if you haven't, I would love to know your thoughts. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Check the video description for all of the relevant links. And remember, as I always tell you, just keep creating.